Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee, Derek Fisher, Big Game James Worthy, Mike Bresnahan, Allie Clifton will be joining us in a little bit. We got Mike Trudell covering the postgame out in Minnesota. Lakers lose to the T-Wolves, and for just the third time in franchise history, the Los Angeles Lakers start 0-5. Kind of a tough way to get things going here to start off the 2022-23 season. No AD. And another game where they are right there to win. Big game. Just don't get it done.
You know,
execution-wise.
0-4, you're desperate for a win. You're going there without one of your bigger guns, AD. Still played fairly well. You know, it was a winnable game, in my opinion. I mean, the one thing that cost them was the 25 points that they gave up off the turnovers. 22 turnovers, not being able to, take advantage of the moments when they were down maybe 2 or 3, or maybe had a lead 2 or 3 points, and not being able to execute by turning it over just cost them, big time. I thought, from a team point of view, they played fairly well. The bench came in and scored and held up and sustained, but turnovers and, the inability to make stops, too, down. Gobert is a big problem in the paint. That was the game to me, the turnovers mostly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're turning the basketball over, which we touched on at halftime, I think 11 at the half, 11 more in the second half, it's just a recipe for disaster. And I don't know, what the stats will show in NBA history on the road. If you turn the ball over 20-plus times, your winning percentage is probably going to be pretty low. Yeah. Some of that, though, is like great offensive efficiency comes from a level of continuity and connection as a team, which is difficult to have continuity when one of your best players is out. Different starting lineups, Russ coming in off the bench, Troy Brown Jr. being in the lineup, Dennis Schroeder's out. All of these things that it makes it impossible really for the team to develop the continuity, connection, so that some of those turnovers that come from just understanding where each other is going to be, how you like to receive the basketball, who can catch what passes, those are difficult things early in the season with new guys. With all of those things being said, it's the NBA, and you still have to figure out a way to win. There have been a number of games that they could have won so far, and just continue to come up short. But they can't give up on who they are and where they're trying to go.
Guys, I'm going to predict what Darvin Ham is going to say in a few minutes. I like the effort. I like the enthusiasm. As D-Fish, as you indicated, a lot of moving parts in this Laker lineup. Russ off the bench, I thought was interesting. He didn't shoot real well, probably had a few too many turnovers, but I have a feeling he's going to start coming off the bench for a while now, because there was just enough there to see the old Russ kind of being that blurry figure, scrambling up and down the court. I think that's where he's best on this team. But just such a struggle to score points. Mm-hmm. They're dead last in the NBA at 102.3 points a game. What they scored tonight, 102. So just kind of a little bit of the same movie with some different characters in it tonight. I like the effort. If I'm the Lakers, they're finally shooting threes better. Guys, they got over 30% for the first time this season, but just couldn't quite get enough points against a solid Minnesota team.
Yeah, I've said this before, too, guys. You don't want to be dead last in this, especially when it's a negative stat, 3-point percentage, overall points. And then we talked about the 0-5 start and how many times that's happened in franchise history. You'll see right here, it's only the third time that it's ever happened. So this is, unfamiliar territory. It happened in 57-58. They started 0-7. In 2014-15, they started 0-5. In 2015-16, they started 0-4. So we've seen over the last 8-9 seasons, there have been some difficult times. Three-point shooting has been a big one. Best of the year, actually, still only 31%, but you see the trend of less threes. They were 9 for 29. They were still minus 12 in that category. But big game, I think you hit it on the head. When you go on the road, and Fish even said, I don't know what the percentages are, but when you're going to turn that ball over 22 times and it's going to lead to 25 points, 22 fast break points, it's tough to win on the road.
Yeah.
Because they did a lot of good things also.
Yeah, but anywhere, home or away, but particularly on the road, when you're giving the crowd and the home team energy and momentum, it's hard to recapture those moments. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that, like Brad said, the inability to score and take care of the basketball is, that's an ingredient that's going to make your cake taste a little nasty. You know what I mean? So, they just, for a while there in the second quarter, the ball was moving. LeBron was out of the game, had some new faces in there. It was moving pretty good. They were getting some opportunities, but, not being able to take care of the basketball and, like we said, not being able to execute to get buckets when you need them in those last 3 minutes when the game was still there for a win. Just, not there tonight.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to lead you to this, Fish, because I think when you lose these kinds of games and you're 0-5 and you're looking at last few possessions or you're looking at, moments in the game, as James just talked about, the spotlight is on that. I had written this down when we were watching the game. It was 83-80 with just under 10 minutes to play, and the Lakers got themselves back in that game, and they were playing well, and there was an up and down pace going on, and there were 3 opportunities for the Lakers. Yep. A couple missed layups, a couple of missed threes. T-Wolves end up hitting the 3. It goes to 86-80. James, we call timeout. Lakers come out, miss a 3, Fish, and then it's another bucket. Now it's 88-80. And I know that's just a short minute 30, Fish, but it just kind of symbolizes where they are this year.
Yeah, it really does. The margin for error is really small early in this season. When you are struggling to score the basketball, if you miss an opportunity to score at the rim or a pass gets bobbled and it just throws off the timing, not clicking at the moment. Usually, though, and I don't want to say usually, a lot of times in sports and just in general in life, like the breakthrough to success is oftentimes right on the other side of that hardest moment. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, are you willing to endure and push through to get to the other side, or are you going to give in to the adversity, the struggle, the difficulties? They've come out each night and fought and competed pretty hard. Like, they've been tied at the half twice on the road, and it's just that little margin for error. Like you said, a minute here, 47 seconds, a few possessions, but that's always been the margin between winning and losing, and so it just, hopefully it's increasing the appreciation for it.
Yeah, possessions are critical. Possessions are critical. The Lakers, they want to have a concept where they're attacking, moving and attacking, but there are moments in the game when you're tied or when it's close, when you really got to soak that possession to make sure you're getting a really good shot. If there's, you make it work. You really got to go to your bread and butter. And, I know you're in attack mode, but down the stretch, you get ready to soak those possessions up and get the shot that you really want.
Perez, I'm a firm believer, especially in sports, that you can really find out about a team individually as a unit when you're faced with adversity.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not easy, especially in 2022. It's much easier to fracture because of the outside noise, because of all the opinions. But this is where they have to kind of stay together, right? It's 0-5. It's brutal. It's going to be all over social media, fans from everywhere. But it's still, 77 games left in the season.
Yeah, you really got to block out that noise right now, no doubt about it. And the good news for the Lakers, they get to come home after this brief 2-game road trip. The bad news is there are no Orlandos or Sacramentos or even Houstons on that schedule. They go right into Denver again, who just beat them a couple games ago, New Orleans. They play Utah twice, and Cleveland as well, and then the Clippers. So if you look at their next 2 games, they're at home for a lot of those games. I think they go to Utah for one of those games. That's the only time where they're not playing at Crypto.com Arena. Schedule not doing any favors, guys. They got to push through it, no doubt.
All right, let's get you to the highlights. Damian Jones getting the start. No Anthony Davis. Russ coming off the bench. He missed the last game. Early in the first, it's Lonnie Walker, the fourth, finding LeBron for the 3.